I want you to think about something before we begin. Most people in life don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they quit too soon. They stop right before the breakthrough. And I'm here to tell you today it's not over until you win. No matter where you are right now, no matter what you've been through, the story isn't finished until you decide it's finished. When I was a child, they labeled me educable mentally retarded. That's a fancy way of saying we don't expect much from you, boy. I had no college degree, no connections, and no reason, at least by their standards, to believe I could be anything. But I learned something. Other people's opinions do not have to become your reality. You see, life will try to write your story for you. People will try to put you in a box. But it's your job to pick up the pen and write your own ending. You will face rejection. You will face pain. People you thought would support you will disappear when you need them most. That's part of the journey. You might get knocked down, maybe more than once. But every time you fall, you get back up, because the ground is no place for a champion. You weren't born to stay down. You were born to rise. There were nights I went to bed hungry. There were mornings I woke up with more bills than money. There were days I wanted to quit. But I had a dream, and that dream was stronger than my excuses. When you want something badly enough, you will find a way. You will talk to yourself when no one else will encourage you. You will run after opportunities when the world says it's over. You will believe in yourself when there's no evidence yet to prove you should. Your dream is possible. I don't care how old you are, where you're from, or what mistakes you've made. If you can look up, you can get up. If you're still breathing, there's still a chance. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you don't want will automatically take over. You must decide right now, I'm going to win. So the next time you feel like quitting, remember, your struggle is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Keep going, keep pushing, keep believing. You have greatness within you, and until that greatness comes out, until your dream becomes reality, until you stand where you said you'd stand, you tell yourself every day, it's not over until I win. I want you to imagine a book sitting in front of you. It has your name on the cover. Inside are the pages of your life, the moments that have shaped you, the victories you've celebrated, and the battles you've survived. Now imagine that someone else has taken the pen from you and started writing the ending. They've decided how far you'll go, how much you'll achieve, and when your story stops. That's how life often works. Teachers, bosses, relatives, even strangers, they think they know your limits. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. When I was a young boy, they labeled me educable mentally retarded. They put me in special education classes. They told me I was slow, that I would never catch up. I believed them for a long time, because when you're a child, the voices around you become the voice inside you. And I want you to hear me on this. You must be careful whose voice you allow in your head, because the world will try to convince you you're not enough, but they don't know what's inside you. They don't know the dreams you've been carrying quietly in your heart. I remember sitting in the back of a classroom, looking out the window, wondering if there was more to life than what I could see from my neighborhood. I wasn't the best student. I didn't have good grades. But I had a burning feeling deep down that there was more for me. And one day, a man named Mr. Washington looked at me and said, "Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." Those words lit a fire in me. It was like someone handed me my pen back and said, "You write your own story." That was the first time I realized your beginning does not dictate your end. I want you to understand something. Rejection is not the end of the road, it's just a bend in the road. Too many people hear a no and treat it like a period when really it's just a comma. When I first tried to get a job as a radio announcer, they told me I didn't have the voice for it. They told me I didn't have the experience. And you know what I told myself? I'm going to find a way in even if the front door is locked. I went down to the radio station and offered to bring coffee, clean floors, run errands, anything to be around the business. I wasn't just chasing a job. I was chasing a dream. And I knew that if I could just get my foot in the door, prove to them that I belonged there. You see, sometimes the opportunity you want isn't going to walk up and introduce itself politely. Sometimes you have to knock on that door so many times that they finally open it just to see who's making all the noise. Rejection is a test. It's asking you, how badly do you really want this? When they told me no, I kept showing up. When they said, we are not hiring, I said, that's fine. I'm not applying. I'm just helping. I stayed close enough to the dream that one day when the announcer didn't show up for work, I was there to step in. And that moment changed my life. But let me tell you, if I had let that first to know stop me, you wouldn't be reading these words right now. My story would have ended before it began. Here's the truth. People don't remember the number of times you were turned down. They remember the one time you succeeded. The only thing standing between you and that day is your willingness to outlast rejection. When people ask me, Les, how do I turn my life around? I tell them you've got to be hungry. Not hungry for food, hungry for a better life, hungry for your dream. Hungry enough that it keeps you awake at night. Hunger is what makes the difference between people who wish and people who achieve. See, wishes fade when things get hard. But hunger will make you get up earlier, stay up later, and push through every wall in your way. I remember watching successful people when I was just starting out. I'd see them in their nice cars, wearing sharp suits, walking with confidence. I didn't envy them. I studied them. I asked myself, what are they doing differently? And I realized it wasn't just skills or connections. It was a fire inside them that said, I won't settle. You've got to get to the point where staying where you are becomes more painful than moving forward, where the discomfort of change feels better than the misery of standing still. When I was broke, I didn't just want more money. I wanted freedom. Freedom from worry. Freedom to take care of my family. Freedom to live life on my terms. That hunger pulled me out of bed every morning. And here's the thing about hunger. The world can't give it to you. You've got to develop it. You've got to feed it every day with your vision, your goals, your belief. You feed it by reading, by surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, by reminding yourself of where you're going. If you're not hungry for your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. And if you're not willing to go all in for your own future, then don't expect extraordinary results. Before you can win in the world, you have to win in your mind. Everything you see in your life right now started with a thought. Every action you've taken, every choice you've made came from what you were thinking at the time. The mind is the battleground where success or failure is decided long before you see the outcome. That's why you've got to guard your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it does. When I was younger, I didn't believe I could be a speaker. I looked at my lack of education, my poor background, my mistakes, and I thought, who would listen to me? Those thoughts almost robbed me of my destiny. Then I learned something powerful. You don't have to believe everything you think. Thoughts are like guests. Some should be welcomed and some should be shown the door immediately. If you keep telling yourself you're not enough, you're not smart enough, you're not talented enough, you'll start living like it's true. But if you feed your mind with possibilities, with empowering beliefs, you'll start living like those are true instead. Change your mind and your life will follow. Here's a habit I developed. Every morning I speak affirmations over my life. I tell myself I have greatness within me. I am capable. I am a winner, even when I didn't feel like it, especially when I didn't feel like it, because the mind doesn't always respond to truth right away. Sometimes you've got to repeat it until it becomes your truth. The world is loud with negativity. If you don't take control of your thoughts, the noise will take control of you. Decide today that the battle in your mind will be won by you.